Good morning. Good morning. It's Sunday. And I've just had kind of an interesting experience. See this cat up here on the chair. Well, yesterday I got a bee in my bonnet and I moved everything around in the room. And this cat was terrified. He was freaked out. When he saw it, he was in the middle of the room looking around and nothing looked quite right. He didn't know what was going on and he got all befuddled and he went and hid for the rest of the day. All right. When I came into the living room in the middle of the night, he was hunkered down in the middle of the room staring at everything. And this showed me that sometimes we just really can't deal with it. We really can't deal with this. And it came to me that in my own personal life, gifted or whatever, to deal with people who just can't deal with it my whole life long. All right. First of all, I was given away at birth or kidnapped or something, but I have no memory of my birth parents, and I was trafficked into the adoption network and finally foster kid in a home with very dominant narcissistic foster mother and a very timid father. And the timid father went away. And then a new timid father showed up. Okay. And the timid fathers never dealt with the narcissistic mother. That was interesting. And in the family that I was fostered into, I had no siblings. And 3 of my cousins had no siblings. We were all only children dealing with narcissistic mothers and timid fathers. So growing up, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing about nothing because I was excess. We were all excess. Our parents were preoccupied. Yeah. The situation in today's world, people are preoccupied. You walk down the street and they're preoccupied with a little black thing in their hand. And they're pecking at it. Or you walk into a room and the people are preoccupied with the television, or they're preoccupied with something else. But anyway, to get back to being a failure in a modern world. So I married the same kind of man 3 times because I married the kind of man my mother insisted was safe. Okay, so in each case, I married men who believed the official version. Let's put it that way. They believed the official version of everything, all right? They believed in the Apollo 11 success, and they believed in the terrorist acts that were happening, and they believed that NASA told the truth, and they believed what they were told about history, and they believed, okay? And so they had a very narrow, very, very narrow conceptualization of life itself. If life is this big, let's see if I can get this there. Okay, if life is this big, they were there. And that became a very destructive process for me because I was out there. Okay. A space case. That's one of the nicknames I get. It's a space. And I learned from failure. Having a narrow spectrum of thought experiences, one tends to kind of grab onto them and hold on for dear life. If you get my drift. Okay. And then because I grew up in San Francisco in the Noe Valley, where the gay society was. The gay scene was always part of my life from the time I was 9 years old, because we lived on 17th Street, just down from Castro in Noe Valley. And the gays were there in the early 50s also. And what their perceptions were about just us, just us. They had a narrow view of life that did not include a long-term future, and it did not include a lot of virtues that those of us who live in families have to, in order to be families, maintain. Solidarity, fidelity, chastity, forbearance, forgiveness, the tough things. And so now I am going to be 76 in a couple of weeks. And I've been single now 25 years, and I look at my generation, and my generation, is passing away. They're dying off. Of course, we're dying off. And I look at these singles organizations, and I'm shown cute guys in their 50s who want girlfriends in their 30s. And so there's no companionship for me there. I'm not one of the ones that are going to win. All right. So I'm living in my head with whatever is up there. trying to figure things out. And what I've come to is that there are two kinds of people that I don't really connect with, because they have such a short span of narrow interests. And those are the ones who express and live out, I'm righter than you, we're righter than them, we're the best and you're something else, and just us is what I stand for. Okay, if you understand what I mean. And it could be an ideological thing, it could be a physical or racial thing or whatever. But the people who only look out for their own selves, even under the present case of national calamity coming, they're not folks that I can really warm up to. Okay. And also the people that I meet who utilize the official story, the official version. Let me give you some examples of official fables. I call them fables. 19 Arabs with box cutters. Okay. Lone gunman. All right. Bay of Pigs. Already said Apollo 11 success. I could have added Clementine, Magellan, Cassini hoaxes, because those images were not taken the way they were advertised to have been taken. All right. How many hoaxes and official versions have we followed and found out later weren't true? A lot of them. The 1936 so-called abdication of King Edward VIII is another official story that has no basis in fact. Doppelgangers were used to stage the abdication, and he was pretty well deposed because he opposed the occult Zionist New World Order. He was stuck between his half-brother, Adolf Hitler, who was an occulted fascist, and his father, who was a Zionist. And he didn't want to have anything to do with either part of it. He wanted to be a monarch after the manner of an honest monarch. And so he got kicked out. And that's the real story. And so today we are facing more false and fake and official stories and talking. And instead of listening to that, I'd like to advocate that you boycott the talking. And you boycott the official stories. And you look around for what's true. And you look around for people for whom just us does not apply, who care about other people. And you look about for people who have a broad sense of reality, who are willing to confront the hard issues. And again, I advocate Jordan Peterson's work. His videos cover just about everything. And they're just very helpful to unpack and relieve the experience you had. Oh, that's why that happened. All right. So there are some people that we avoid. And that's what my cat taught me. That there are times when avoidance just seems like the sane thing to do. Because who wants to argue and fight? So we just have to care for ourselves and the ones that, if you can't be the ones you love with the ones you love, then love the ones you're with. Just my point of view today. This is Emily Windsor Craig, and you have a nice day, and we'll see you tomorrow, maybe. Who knows? There's always something happening. Bye-bye.